The most expensive mistake in the used SUV market is not buying a bad vehicle. It is overpaying for a good one because the badge on the hood commands a premium that the mechanical content underneath doesn't require. Toyota charges for being Toyota. Honda charges for being Honda. The reliability premium embedded in those transaction prices is real, but it is not exclusive to those brands. And buyers who assume it is are consistently leaving $4,000 on the table at purchase without receiving equivalent additional value in return. 5 cheap SUVs that almost everyone ignores and why the ownership data says they deserve significantly more attention than they're getting. 5 2016-2020 Ford Edge SEL's Titanium 2.0L EcoBoost. The Ford Edge occupies one of the most commercially awkward positions in the entire SUV market, too large to compete naturally against compact crossovers, too small to satisfy buyers who specifically want a 3-row configuration, and consistently overshadowed by the Explorer above it and the Escape below it in Ford's own lineup. That positioning problem has suppressed used Edge values in ways that have nothing to do with the vehicle's mechanical content or ownership quality. And the result is one of the most consistently underpriced mid-size crossovers in the current used market. The 2.0-liter EcoBoost inline-4, producing 245 horsepower and 275 libre-fev torque, is the volume powertrain on SEL and Titanium trims, genuinely adequate power for a vehicle in this size and weight class. With turbocharged torque delivery that makes everyday merging and highway passing feel effortless in ways that naturally aspirated alternatives at equivalent displacement don't replicate. Fuel economy of approximately 21 city and 29 highway in AWD configuration is competitive for the output level and compares favorably against V6-powered mid-size crossover alternatives. The Edge's interior in titanium trim is one of the most significant used market underappreciation stories in this segment. The available heated and cooled leather seating, panoramic roof, Sync 3 infotainment with an 8-inch touchscreen, and Ford's Copilot 360 safety suite on later model years deliver a technology and comfort content level that used market pricing communicates nothing about. Buyers cross-shopping a 2018 Edge Titanium at $18,000 against a 2018 Honda Passport EXL at $24,000 are evaluating equivalent content at a $6,000 price difference explained primarily by brand premium rather than feature differential. Current private party pricing on 2017 to 2019 Edge Titanium AWD examples with 55,000 to 75,000 miles run $16,000 to $20,000. The Honda Passport, Ford's most direct competitor in this specific 2-row midsize crossover position, commands $22,000 to $27,000 for comparable mileage and trim equivalents. The Mazda CX-9 in comparable trim runs $24,000 to $29,000. Neither vehicle delivers ownership quality data that justifies the premium over the Edge in the specific model year window where the EcoBoost engine's reliability has been validated across sufficient owner population to provide genuine confidence. The honest watch items deserve acknowledgement. The 2.0-liter EcoBoost's carbon buildup characteristic, inherent to direct injection architecture, requires walnut blasting service at 80,000 to 100,000 mile intervals that owners who don't research the engine's maintenance requirements discover reactively rather than proactively. The 6-speed automatic transmission in the Edge application has a more positive owner experience record than the 8-speed that followed in some later applications. 5-year total ownership cost on a well-maintained Edge Titanium purchased at current private market pricing compares favorably against every direct competitor in the 2-row midsize category. The badge gap costs real money at purchase. Over the ownership period, it costs nothing in reliability or capability. For 2015-2019 Hyundai Santa Fe Sport 2.0T AWD. The Hyundai Santa Fe Sport occupies a specific used market position where brand perception lag. The Hyundai quality reputation from the 1990s and early 2000s that persists in buyers who haven't tracked the brand's documented quality reputation from the 1990s trajectory over the past 15 years is creating a price discount that the current ownership data does not justify and that informed buyers can capture consistently. The 2.0-liter turbocharged inline-4, producing 240 horsepower and 260 libre-foot torque in the Santa Fe Sport, is the powertrain that makes this vehicle genuinely compelling at current used pricing. This is not an undersized engine, struggling against the vehicle's weight. It is a turbocharged four-cylinder producing sports sedan output figures in a compact SUV pack, delivering acceleration that surprises buyers familiar with the naturally aspirated alternatives that dominated this segment during the production period. 0 to 60 times benchmark around 6.8 seconds for AWD examples. Competitive with vehicles costing $15,000 more in the current used market. Fuel economy of approximately 22 city and 29 highway in AWD configuration is competitive for a turbocharged four-cylinder producing this output level. The powertrain combination turbo four-cylinder with Hyundai's 6-speed automatic has accumulated reliability data across the Santa Fe Sports production run that Consumer Reports and independent owner reporting place above segment average for this specific engine-transmission pairing. Hyundai's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty on original ownership extends transferable coverage to subsequent owners through Hyundai's certified pre-owned program in ways that reduce the risk premium informed buyers would otherwise apply to a Korean nameplate at this mileage range. Interior quality in Sport 2.0T and Ultimate trim levels consistently surprises buyers who approach the Santa Fe Sport with brand expectation-suppressed quality assumptions. Available panoramic sunroof, heated and ventilated front seats, leather seating surfaces, an 8-inch touchscreen with navigation, and the Blue Link connected services package deliver content that benchmarks against vehicles with $8,000 to $12,000 higher transaction prices in the current used market. The interior materials in Ultimate trim specifically use soft-touch surfaces and genuine aluminum accents that hold up well at higher mileages when maintenance history is clean. Current private party pricing on 2016 to 2018. Santa Fe Sport 2.0T AWD, examples with 55,000 to 75,000 miles, runs $13,000. The $6,000 to $8,000 gap between the Santa Fe Sport and these segment leaders is not explained by reliability data differences in the 2016 to 2019 model year range. It is explained by brand perception that lags the documented quality reality by approximately a decade. The caveat that any Santa Fe Sport 2.0T buyer should research the Theta 2 engine family that Hyundai used across this period was subject to reliability concerns and warranty extensions related to manufacturing debris in certain production windows. Buyers should verify that any example under consideration has the updated oil supply kit installed or shows no history of the related concerns, information available through Hyundai's VIN-specific service history lookup and confirmable through an independent pre-purchase inspection. 2014-2018 Acura MDX, third generation. The third-generation Acura MDX is the most comprehensively undervalued three-row luxury SUV in the current used market. And the argument for its value position against direct competitors is more straightforward than almost any other vehicle on this list. The 3.5-liter naturally aspirated V6 producing 290 horsepower and 267 libre-foot of torque paired with a 9-speed automatic transmission is the powertrain foundation, and like the second-generation RDX, the naturally aspirated V6 and MDX application carries a reliability heritage that the turbocharged alternatives replacing it in competitive vehicles cannot match by documented owner population size and mileage distribution. There are no intercoolers to maintain, no carbon buildup service requirements, no turbocharger replacement considerations. Honda's 3.5-liter V6 family has a 25-year track record of high mileage durability across Accord. SHAWD on the MDX provides active torque vectoring between rear wheels that delivers dynamic handling capability in a three-row SUV that competitors in this price range and segment cannot replicate. The SHAWD system's dynamic benefits in both everyday handling and winter traction are genuine and perceptible, not a marketing description of a system that engages only in extreme conditions, but active torque management that changes the vehicle's behavior in normal cornering, lane changes, and low traction situations in ways owners consistently describe as the most surprising and valued characteristic of MDX ownership. The three-row configuration is the MDX's practical differentiator from the two-row RDX, a genuine third row that accommodates adult passengers for shorter trips and children comfortably for extended travel, in a vehicle that parks, maneuvers, and drives with the footprint of a two-row crossover rather than the bloated dimensions of full-size three-row alternatives. Cargo volume behind the third row is 15.8 cubic feet. Modest but functional and expandable to 38.4 cubic feet with the third row folded in a 60-40 split. Technology content in advanced and entertainment package trims includes a 10.2-inch navigation screen, Acura's ELS Studio 3D premium audio system, a power tailgate, and a comprehensive active safety suite. Technology that benchmarked above segment average at production and that has aged gracefully than touchscreen-heavy interfaces from the same period because the MDX's interface design emphasized physical controls for primary functions alongside the screen rather than migrating everything to a touchscreen that dates more quickly. Current private party pricing on 2015 to 2017. MDX AWD examples with 70,000 miles runs $18,000 to $24,000. A comparable Lexus RX 350 AWD from the same era commands $24,000 to $30,000. The MDX's transaction price discount versus Lexus is not supported by reliability data that favors the Lexus Consumer Reports rates both highly across this model year window, with the MDX holding competitive reliability scores that the price differential doesn't reflect. Maintenance costs reinforce the value case at the ownership period level. Acura dealer labor rates average 20 to 30% below equivalent Lexus, BMW, and Mercedes rates. The naturally aspirated V6 requires standard maintenance at intervals that an independent Honda Acura specialist can perform competently at rates approaching mainstream vehicle service costs. 5-year total ownership cost on a well-chosen third-generation MDX consistently benchmarks below both the Lexus RX and the BMW X5, despite the MDX offering comparable or superior space and three-row functionality that neither competitor provides. 2016-2021 Kia Sportage 2.0L and 2.4L AWD. The Kia Sportage's used market undervaluation is one of the most consistent and exploitable patterns in the current compact SUV segment, driven by the same brand perception lag that affects the Hyundai Santa Fe Sport, but amplified by Kia's even more modest aspirational brand positioning in U.S. consumer perception relative to the quality trajectory. The brand has actually followed over the past decade. The 2.4-liter naturally aspirated inline-four producing 181 horsepower and the available 2.0-liter turbocharged inline-four producing 240 horsepower represent two distinct buying propositions within the same nameplate. The turbocharged 2.0-liter delivers Santa Fe Sport equivalent performance in a smaller package with the same turbocharged maintenance awareness required, but at a performance per dollar ratio that the used market pricing makes genuinely compelling. Consumer Reports gives the 2016 to 2021 Sportage above average predicted reliability, a designation that the vehicle's used market pricing communicates nothing about. Owner satisfaction scores are above segment average in Consumer Reports tracking, and the Kia Hyundai 5-year 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper and 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty coverage on original ownership transfers through Kia's CPO program in ways that reduce the risk premium a used buyer would otherwise apply. Interior quality in SX and SX Turbo trims is the Sportage's most systematically undervalued attribute in used market pricing. The available panoramic sunroof, Harman Kardon audio system, heated and ventilated front and rear seats, and the 8-inch touchscreen with navigation deliver content that competitors from Honda and Toyota offer only in their top trims at used market prices $5,000 higher. The Sportage's interior design has aged well. Clean lines and physical control retention for primary HVAC and audio functions rather than touchscreen migration that creates both usability and reliability concerns in dated infotainment platforms. Current private party pricing on 2017 to 2019 Sportage SX AWD examples with 50,000 to 70,000 miles runs $14,000. A Toyota RAV4 SE in equivalent condition commands $19,000 to $23,000. A Honda CR-V EXL at similar mileage runs $20,000 to $20,000. The Sportage's $5,000 to $7,000 purchase price discount versus these segment leaders is not justified by reliability data differences. It is the Kia brand perception discount applied consistently and exploitably by buyers who read the ownership data rather than the badge. The Sportage's one genuine competitive disadvantage versus segment leaders is resale value. 3-year retention sits at approximately 44 to 48%. Buyers who trade every 3 years absorb this residual gap at disposition, partially offsetting the purchase price advantage. Buyers planning 5 to 7 year ownership periods for whom the residual gap at a distant future disposition matters far less than the immediate purchase price, savings, and ongoing ownership cost profile are the buyers for whom the Sportage value case is most compelling and most financially sound. Edmund 2017-2022 Volvo XC60, T5 and T6 AWD. The Volvo XC60 is the most surprising vehicle on this list for buyers who associate Volvo with the reliability concerns that characterize the brand through its Ford ownership period. Because the Geely-era XC60 that launched for 2018 represents a genuinely different product from a genuinely different manufacturing environment, and its used market pricing in 2026 reflects the old Volvo reputation rather than the current vehicle's documented ownership quality. Consumer Reports gives the second-generation XC60 above-average predicted reliability, a designation that most buyers who avoid Volvo based on historical reputation would not predict, and that the used market pricing has not yet fully reflected. The platform shared with the Polestar 2 and the current Volvo XC40 has accumulated real-world reliability data across a sufficiently large owner population to provide genuine confidence in the assessment rather than relying on small sample projections. The T5 powertrain, a 2.0-liter turbocharged inline-4 producing 250 horsepower, and the T6 powertrain, the same 2.0-liter with both turbocharging and supercharging producing 316 horsepower, are the volume configurations that represent the best used market purchase windows. The T8 plug-in hybrid, while technologically impressive, adds complexity and post-warranty cost exposure that the current used market pricing doesn't always compensate for adequately, making the T5 and T6 the configurations where the value-to-risk ratio is most favorable. Fuel economy on the T5 AWD is approximately 23 city and 31 highway. Competitive for a turbocharged inline-4 in this vehicle size, the T6's additional forced induction drops economy to approximately 22 city and 29 highway while delivering performance that benchmarks against the BMW X3 M40i at a fraction of the used market transaction cost. The XC60's interior is the attribute that most consistently converts skeptical buyers upon direct evaluation. Volvo's Scandinavian design philosophy. Genuine wood trim, fine Napa leather on upper trims, an audio system tuned by Bowers & Wilkins on inscription trim, and a design coherence that prioritizes material authenticity over surface area covered creates a cabin environment that buyers cross-shopping against BMW, Mercedes, and Audi consistently place among the top interior experiences regardless of price category. This interior quality is available in the used market at prices that make the comparison with European luxury competitors embarrassing for those competitors. Current private party pricing on 2018 to 2020 XC60 T6 AWD momentum and inscription examples. With 45,000 to 65,000 miles, runs $26,000. A comparable BMW X3 xDrive 30i from the same era commands $30,000. Both German competitors carry below-average Consumer Reports reliability scores in this model year range, making the XC60's above-average reliability score and $4,000 to $6,000 purchase price discount, a combination that informed buyers should find difficult to ignore. Volvo dealer labor rates average 15 to 25% below BMW and Mercedes equivalent service rates in most U.S. markets, but Volvo's service intervals and maintenance transparency are generally better communicated than VW Audi equivalents in the same engine category. Extended warranty options from Volvo's CPO program and third-party providers are available at reasonable cost given the vehicle's current transaction pricing. The 5-year total ownership cost comparison against BMW X3 and Mercedes GLC at current used market prices consistently favors the XC60. Lower acquisition cost, lower dealer service rates, stronger Consumer Reports reliability prediction, and the practical benefit of a brand that has been actively improving its reliability trajectory rather than defending a declining one. The 5 vehicles on this list share a single defining characteristic. Their used market prices are determined by factors that have nothing to do with what it costs to own them. The Ford Edge is paying a positioning tax for existing between 2 more popular nameplates. The Santa Fe Sport and Sportage are discounted by brand perception that lags their documented quality trajectory by a decade. The Acura MDX and Volvo XC60 are being ignored because they lack the aspirational cachet of German luxury competitors whose Consumer Reports reliability scores are measurably worse at equivalent price points. Every one of these price gaps is money that transfers directly from the used market's uninformed majority to the informed minority that reads ownership data rather than brand reputation. The badge costs money. The mechanical content is what determines whether the money was well spent. On every vehicle on this list, the mechanical content and the ownership data justify a price that the market is not currently charging, and that gap is the opportunity. The best used SUV purchase in 2026 is not the one with the most impressive name or the strongest cultural cachet. It is the one where the ownership data, the reliability scores, the maintenance cost profile, and the purchase price combine to leave the most money in your pocket at the end of a 5-year holding period. On that measure, every vehicle on this list outperforms the mainstream alternatives that buyers consistently overpay for in their name. If this changed how you're approaching your next used SUV purchase, share it with someone currently in the market. Subscribe for value-driven buying analysis built on data rather than perception. Drop a comment telling us which of these 5 you would buy today, or share the overlooked vehicle that turned out to be the best automotive decision you ever made.